Oh, I really hope this works now. Bloody annoying. I was chatting to you guys for a good, 15 minutes? And then I realised that I'd got messages saying that no one could hear me. And I guess that's one of the hazards, isn't it, of LinkedIn? Because you can't see the comments coming up, so you don't always know if there's a problem. Hopefully this is going to work now. I'm being persistent because I really believe you guys, or at least some people, are going to need to hear this today. There's obviously a reason that I'm feeling really connected with sharing what I'm about to share with you today. There's obviously people that really need to hear it, so I'm not one to give up because of a bit of technical issues. We've got an enormous amounts of wind here today. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it's whipping round the mountain. And I don't know whether that's got something to do, perhaps, with the connection, but hopefully we're good now. So it's 17 days to go, guys, 17 days to go. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is video diary number 4 in a series that I'm doing leading up to a huge launch, something that I've never done before in a way that I've never done it before, something I'm terrified of and excited by all at the same time, that launches on the 11th of February. The finer details haven't been decided yet, but I do know that I'm going to be running a live class in celebration of the launch and providing a space within that live class to just develop like an energy within that space, us together, that leaves everybody that live class touches feeling like charged up for whatever's important to you, whatever goal you're going after. It's not about a how to ... like process step-by-step pen paper sort of web class. It's about coming, being with me in a zone where we develop a deep hunger, so you go away feeling fucking unstoppable. That's how I want to launch my new thing, and we are 17 days away from that. There is no links or anything yet for the live class, but if you want to be there and you're like, I know I want to be there, it's the 11th of February, so you can just save the date now. It's at 7:30 p.m. UK time, or it'll be 8:30 if you're in Europe like me. So yeah, just save the date. If you want to leave a comment below so that we send you a little reminder to opt in and get your space, your seat in the live class when the links all come out. We're not even there yet. We've got no funnels, landing pages, nothing yet. We're working in a way we've never worked in before and just taking you on the journey with me, which I've never done before. So I'm literally video blogging, diarying, I suppose, the journey of up-leveling to $1 million a month in the coaching brand, what that feels like, what that means, the challenges that we encounter on the way, doing it before it's perfect, before we've achieved it, which feels well out of my comfort zone, because you get into a habit, don't you, of sharing the things that you're comfortable sharing because they are now your comfort zone, things you've already achieved, how-to hacks that you've already mastered, you know? Sharing lessons that we learned previously from challenges we had before, not committing to taking people on a journey with you to launch something brand new and to up level in this way in real time. You know, that feels really scary, really scary. It makes me feel really vulnerable in the process, but at the same time, I'm learning things about myself and you guys are learning with me, and that's really valuable, because do you know what? $1 million a month means a bigger impact. It means changing more lives through entrepreneurship and energetic wizardry. It means helping more people on a larger scale. And this is one of the ways that I'm doing that. And also with the launch of the new thing on the 11th of February. So here's what you need to do. I'm going to share some nuggets with you now, but just before I do that, if you're here for the first time or one of the first times and new to my world, let me know in the comments by telling me you're a newbie so I can get to know you a little bit. If you've been around for a while and we're already friends, then just say hey, because we're mates and it would be nice to hear from you. If whilst I'm talking today, you think more people need to hear this, this will help more people if more people are put in front of the opportunity to be helped. And I'd like to share that and be the person that potentially helps someone today with that. Then give me a little share on the video. Or even if you think of someone specifically that you think they need to hear this, a business buddy you might have, or then you can tag them in it. And thank you so much in advance for every single one of you that is helping me create the bigger impact that we are creating this year by sharing and tagging and putting it in front of people that need it. Because this new movement, when it births into the world, it's going to birth with a bang. It really is, in every way, and change so many women's lives. Women's lives that need to be touched because they are an entrepreneur that's doing something that has great meaning to it. That's what it's all about, right? Helping the people that want to create a bigger impact, helping the people that have real deep meaning to their work. It's not just about having a business or making money. And that's what this new live launch is going to do. And in the process of putting this together and developing a 10 levels up business, I've had to become a 10 level up human and a 10 level up energy and have a 10 level up strategy. You know, everything has had to level up overnight. And that's what I want to talk to you about. How does one do that? Because I know that it's coming towards the end of January, and some of you might be thinking, oh, you know, that vroom that I had at the start of the year, that optimism, that passion, that energy, I can feel it waning. I can feel it disappearing a little bit. I can feel the familiar patterns, thoughts, feelings creeping back in, and that frightens me. And that's what I want to share with you, because that's quite normal. I am experiencing that at the minute, because what I do when I'm leveling up is I develop a picture, a very clear vision and a very clear feeling of that version of myself, that expression of me energetically, emotionally, that standard of execution. Because in order to have the physical reality of our goals that are not our physical reality right now, we've got to step into the space where they exist, which is a higher vibration. I call it tuning up. You know, we've got to tune up a few levels to feel those feelings, to be that person, to have those things, to create in that space. And one of the ways that I do that and manage to stay in that higher vibration most of the time, not all of the time, most of the time, and make that my new normal, is by first getting clear on what that feels like, looks like. And that for you might mean, you know, everyone's going to have their own way of doing this, but it might mean closing your eyes and thinking about, envisioning what you will look like, feel like in this future version of you. It might mean doing it that way. It might mean putting pen to paper and kind of journaling on what it would mean for you to be this next version of you. And for me, it meant doing two things. It meant spending some time alone and getting really clear through journaling and visioning what this next version of me looked like. What does this million a month coaching leader look like? Because it doesn't look like me now and how I operated last year and the year before, or even last week. It looks like something different. It feels like something different. It is of a different vibration to my current reality. What does that feel like specifically? And then it's just about coming up with a few words. I'll give you an example. One of mine was speed of execution. I recognized that my speed of execution would need to be more rapid. It would need to be more rapid expansion, rapid transition. We would need to be delivering more as a team than ever before, quicker than ever before, to speed up the process so that we could achieve more than ever, reach more people, help more people, meant faster execution. So that was one of the things that came out of this for me. The other thing that came out of this for me was the highest energy, high energy all of the time. It meant, you know, not having a few weeks of increased energy and then a slight dip, or bad days that rolled into bad weeks. Like, that can't happen here. It's high energy, joy, passion, excitement, like a feeling like a Duracell bunny. The energy just won't run out all of the time, or at least most of the time, like 99% of the time. But it also meant feeling calm and relaxed and surrender and trusting. You know, I naturally lean more into my masculine as a business owner when it comes to the fact that I love, I'm a strategy queen. I love the how to step-by-step things that take the hassle and the confusion out of things, and seeing people's light bulbs go off when they go, oh, I just need to do that, and seeing that when people implement a simple strategy, the difference it can make to their business so quickly. I love that stuff. I live for that stuff. But I also know that the other side of that is the trust, the surrender, the energy, the intuition that's guiding us constantly, the river of wisdom that exists in us all the time, that when we just tap in, things are easy. And sometimes if we get too stuck in the how and get too thinky, we experience resistance and things are harder than they need to be. So a big thing for me this year, leveling up to that size business, and that quick, requires me to trust more, surrender more, connect more, listen more, be guided more. Because trusting and surrendering isn't always easy, just because we're guided divinely to do something doesn't mean it's going to be easy to do. Some of the things I've been guided to do in a divine way have made me feel physically sick. They're so far out of my comfort zone. The 11th of February is one of them. I am absolutely crapping myself about this live class because I'm going to be sharing parts of myself, like the depths of my soul that I have never shared before, and it terrifies me. So divine guidance isn't always easy, by the way. But what are your words? What is it going to be required of you? And this might mean tapping into someone else's energy that is already there, because you can't easily step into that place and imagine yourself achieving and feeling those feelings. So it might mean studying successful people that you admire, role models that you have, getting in their world more, whether it be because they're your mentor and you're going to immerse more fully into the time you have with them, or watching a video of someone that has already adopted that energy, that space, and maybe thinking, what would their words be? What's the difference between us, and what 3 words will plug that gap a little bit? And then when you've got these words, it's about constantly saying in everything you do, is this the vibe? Checking in constantly, is this the vibe? Is this the vibe of that? Is this the vibration of that, of where I'm going, of who I'm becoming, of who I already am but just haven't realised physically yet? Is this the vibe? You might be creating a Facebook post, but rather than falling into old patterns of how you would normally post and what you would normally say and the structure you would normally use, or the place it would normally come from, it's going to require you to rip that up and go, is this the vibe? And now if it is the vibe and you're like, yeah, that can stay because that is already there in terms of fullest expression of me, then I just need to keep doing what I've always done in that area. But there's going to be some things, most things in fact, that you're going to go, hold on, that's just an old pattern. That has an energetic imprint of how we used to do things. Not today, because it's not the vibe. I need to do something different. I need to come from a different place. I need to adopt that energy, that emotion, that feeling. Those words need to be injected into this activity and this way of being right now in this moment. It might be that you're about to respond to a client or a potential client in a way you always have, with the energetic imprint of who you were yesterday. And you might need to say, is that the vibe? Do I think that's how XYZ would respond? Do I think that's how I would respond, my future self with that business? Would I respond in that way? It's about questioning everything. And you know what? In the beginning, it's exhausting a little bit, because you're like, you're having to kind of almost work at just doing the smallest activities. But at some point in the not so distant future, you just are. It just becomes you naturally. It doesn't require you to think and keep checking in, because you're just doing it. Last year, I mentioned to you, it was a bit of a coasting year for me in business. I didn't have to check in and ask myself any tough questions. Is this the vibe? Because I wasn't leveling up. I was embedding what we've already done and doing it well and easier, and it didn't require this of me, the same that it requires of me this year. And it's okay to have those years. If you're having one of those years, that's totally fine too. But I know that staying in one place for too long, enjoying the fruits of your labor and success, it becomes complacency, it becomes boredom if you're not careful. And that's how I started to get. So it then requires you to decide what's the next version of you and tune up to it. So for a short period of time, in tuning up, everything feels alien again, and we're questioning everything, and we're checking in constantly and saying, is that the vibe? Is that the vibe? But at some point, you just become the vibration, and the results, you have them too, because you're there. And this is just the process from here to there. And there've been days over the last few weeks where I fell back into old patterns, old energetic imprints of just doing what I would have always done. And it can be little things like, for example, I'm working at the minute with my systems manager who always develops my funnels, etc. for me. And he just did what we've always done and sent it to me and was like, how's this for the live class on the 11th? And it wasn't the vibe. And it wasn't the vibe, it's not his fault, it's because I briefed him in the way I always brief him, like we need this. But what I hadn't done is briefed him from that place. Like, look, this is the new energy, the vibration, the new feeling. This is how I want people to feel when they see it. This is how I want people to feel when they receive it, because I want them to be on this journey with me. I want to be playing here. And for people that are playing here, maybe of a lower energy, low vibration, I want to be able to tune them up in an instant. And that requires everything to be different, because when they receive what we're doing, I want them to receive the vibration that we were in when we created it too. And this stuff matters. And I hadn't briefed him in that way. So of course he just did what we've always done. So it meant having to say, actually, we need to do things differently today, and going back and rebriefing him. So, if you're experiencing hiccups when you're leveling up too, and you find yourself pulled back into old patterns, that's okay. It's not time to layer on the guilt and shame and negative emotion, because I can't just assume the vibe and stay the vibe and be the vibe. It's a process. It's a process, and it's okay to slip back. It's okay. That's what I've been telling myself. Can you hear I'm almost saying it to myself as I'm saying it to you? It's okay, it's okay to not just assume that straight away, because if it was that easy, I would have just chose $1 million a month, and then this month I would have hit it, because there would be no work to do in the process. That's not realistic, is it? It's a process of becoming. But I will be sharing with you the results for the end of the first month of just being the vibe. And I can tell you, it's exponential growth. Like, I can't even believe it myself. When I think about the fact that this time last year, sorry, not even this time last month, so coming towards the end of December, I didn't even have the intention of $1 million a month, let alone the plan and the strategy. Coming to the end of January now, we're probably going to cross the $500,000 mark this month already. Just go from 100, 200 to $500,000, bang, like that, within weeks of just deciding, choosing, and powerfully leading myself and my team in a different space that isn't tangible. You can't necessarily process it or structure it or even touch it, but it's palpable to the point you can even taste it. Something's different, and it all starts with the energy, all of it, which is all what the masterclass is going to be about on the 11th of February. So save the date, and if you want us to remind you, drop it in the comments. And don't forget, if you got value from anything that I've got to say today on number 4 of this video diary, then please share. And also, if you want to catch these live, I'm going to be doing each video diary on different platforms so that people, regardless of where they hang out, can catch one. So some days it'll be on Facebook, some days Instagram, some days here on LinkedIn, some days somewhere else. But if you want to connect with me there on those other places too, then feel free, so you can catch me live. If not, if you're like, oh, I just want it all in one place, then drop a message below saying, can I get on your email list? And one of the team will get in contact, because we're emailing the videos out as well. So if you want it all in one place, then you can do that too. Lots of love. Have a wonderful day.